This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Let's head on over to Belmont Park for our Race of the Day for Thursday, June the 24th. Here's the field for race number 8. We're going 3/4 of a mile on the inner turf. Nice optional claiming race. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. You can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page, DRF.com. Access them and handicap along with us. The 3, True Castle, is entered main track only. The 5, Robin Sparkles, is your 9-5 morning line favorite. And Robin Sparkles has done little wrong for trainer Bruce Brown.
Yeah, especially on turf. I mean, she's a pretty fast horse, Dan. I mean, I guess I get why she's the morning line favorite. Although, you know, it's not like she's some kind of star. I actually feel like this is a very well-matched field, and I thought a lot of different horses could win.
And let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, because there's a chance this pace can get quick. The number 2, Jakarta, we know she is a fast horse. We know she likes to lead, and she is the innermost of the 3 speeds. Karak is also very fast. I think those horses take up the running. While Robin Sparkles might be better on the lead, she at least showed enough rating in her last turf race that they might opt for a stalking position.
Yeah, I guess that's to her advantage that they can do that with her. And, you know, she's shown that she can sit a little bit and run. You know, there's really not anything to really knock about Robin Sparkle's turf form so far. She's run well in every single one of her turf starts.
Madeline Must is a dangerous contender. The number 1 with Joel Rosario aboard for Christophe Clement, especially if the pace is fast. Let's watch her seasonal debut in the Grade 3 Intercontinental going 7/8 of a mile. This is a wet turf course, Mike, and Madeline Must is near the back of the pack. She's going to pick up a couple of runners late in this race. I think it's a good building block. This is a horse that ran very well second off the layoff last fall at Aqueduct, and give her some pace. She'll come with a run.
Yeah, and it could just be that 6 furlongs is her preferred distance too, Dan. It feels like that when they cut her back to this distance at the end of last year, she sort of started to improve. I don't know. I think she's a major player in this race. I will just point out the Intercontinental, where I do think she ran fine to be third in there. But that is a race where the 2 favorites scratched. It got down to a pretty short and softer field. And I just thought she did what she had to do to get a piece of it and just ran fine. Cutting back a furlong could help her. Any pace in front of her helps her. She's a pretty strong contender in this race.
Jakarta, one of the speeds in this race, is a multiple stakes winner, switching to Irad Ortiz on the lead last time out in the license fee. Tired. I wonder where she is from a form cycle standpoint. The last 2 races, if you just want to say she doesn't like wet turf, I get it. And then you go back to that 93 buyer going 2 turns a distance too far for her, and maybe she's dirtied up. I wonder if she's starting to feel the effects. She hasn't had a break in a while, and I wonder if maybe she's on the downside of a form.
Yeah, they do keep coming back. That's a good point, and not one that I considered initially. You know, we'll see if the class relief, I guess, Dan, helps her at all in here. She did get hooked up on a pretty contested pace last time with Caravello. It was a pretty nice horse. So I could give her that excuse, I guess. And if you start taking her form apart, I mean, they've run her in a lot of stakes races, but every time they run her in races like this, non-stakes races, sort of allowance type races, I mean, she's right there every single time. This class relief is supposed to help her.
True Castle, the 3 is entered main track only. So we'll move on to the 4, Call on Mischief, who will be moving dirt to turf. This horse has had success on the grass in the past. Hasn't had an opportunity to race on the surface, though, in basically a year, when that was the Lady Shipman Stakes, where she took on a very sharp horse named She's My Type.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what she does switching back. I thought she was interesting coming back to turf, Dan, especially as she does it now with a little bit more experience under her belt and some pretty good dirt form under her belt as well. There's a filly who was claimed for 100,000 and then claimed for 62.5. So, you know, people wanted her in their barn. She's now stakes placed on the dirt. I liked the first 2 turf sprints of her career down at Fairgrounds. It was very early on. I thought she ran really well in both of those races. And then 3 of the next 4 times they tried to run her on turf, she got rained off. And they've just sort of kept her on dirt since then. I think she's interesting coming back to the grass.
The 5 is Robin Sparkles. She won her first 4 starts on turf, and then she ran into the aforementioned She's My Type in her seasonal debut, the License Fee Stakes. Let's watch Robin Sparkles. Now, in this race, she was just a little bit slow from the gate. She usually likes to be up front. She came with a wide bid on the turn and into the stretch, and she'll finish a solid second. She bounced out of this race to win a very weak off-the-turf race for New York breds. She's very consistent.
Yeah, she is. And this was her first start off the layoff. And this is the race we already talked about where Jakarta and Caravel sort of went to the front ahead of her and contested the pace. She never looked like she was going to win, Dan. But I thought she ran fine to be second with another solid buyer speed figure. I mean, every single one of her turf starts so far, she's basically running figures that make her just a huge player in this race.
The number 6, the Speedy Karak, is a multiple stakes winner. And maybe this horse had a little bit of an excuse for her last race. They gave her a start at Keeneland during the spring meet. It was her first start in 11 months. She was very quick out of the stalls, but she kind of got in tight down towards the inside, forced back into the pocket. And after that, in a little bit of traffic, I'm willing to give her that run.
Yeah, I don't care too much about that race. That pace was pretty fast, I thought. She tried to make the lead up the rail. She just couldn't quite get there. The horse who actually wound up making the pace and finished last just outran her to the front. I think that pace was pretty fast, though. So then if you want to give her that one, I guess the question is, which one of her other races do you really like? I mean, she's a little bit slow on the way in here, Dan, and I know she has a stakes win on synthetic, but which one of her turf races do you really like?
Catch a Bid was a stakes winner for Chad Brown back in 2019. She's now under the tutelage of Joe Sharp, and they cut her back to a sprint for the first time in her career, 2 back at Keeneland. She got a very nice closer's trip under Luis Saez, saving ground every step of the way, just getting pipped on the wire. I wonder if turning back to 5, though, last time out was just a little too sharp for her. She was completely out-sprinted, but she did run at the end of that race.
Yeah, she did. And you could tell it might have been a little too sharp down. Luis Saez had her under a ride as soon as the gate opened, just to try to not to get outrun, but he couldn't do it. She just didn't have enough speed to keep up. It does sort of feel like the 6 furlong sprints that they run here at Belmont, it could be a lot better for her. We'll see if it helps.
Unique Factor has not run on the turf since February of 2020. Let's watch that 2-turn stakes race at Turf Paradise right now. Close to a solid pace. They went the half in 46 seconds flat, and I thought she ran okay to be third. She has kept good company on the dirt. Might get the right setup here.
Yeah, the pace, I guess the pace could help her. It's interesting because she's turned into a closing sprinter on the dirt, but when she was running on turf earlier in her career, she always kept closer to the pace. I feel like she'll be farther away from it this time as they switch back. It's very short rest. I mean, she just ran the other day at Pimlico on the dirt, and she didn't do anything.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Thursday race of the day. I don't like the price on my top pick, Robin Sparkles. I think she's going to work out a trip sitting off of the 2 and the 6 early and might get first jump on the closers. I have to admit, I'm a little worried about Madeline Must. Probably use her defensively in multiple race wagers. Call on Mischief, though. First 2 turf starts, very, very good. In against a tough horse while kind of down inside in her last turf race. And I think she's going to be a great price in here. She's faced some nice horses on dirt recently.
Yeah, she has. I just felt like she was a real wild card in here, Dan, and I feel like her turf form is going to get overlooked in here. And again, I thought she ran really well in the first 2 turf starts of her career. I thought she looked pretty good in those races, so I'm going to give her a run in here at a price.
4, 1, 5, and 7 for Mike. 5, 2, 1, and 7 for me. It's the Thursday race of the day, the 8th at Belmont Park. Good luck.